Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are at day 5 of our LAC Virtual Summit. It has been such a great week of schools coming and sharing where they're at in their data culture. And right now, we're going to do something a little bit different. It's also a really exciting time for the LAC team because we're also launching our brand new platform, LAC 3.0. So I'm going to hand over to my partner in crime, Piotr Olczak, who's our Director of Learning Analytics, and he's going to walk us through some of the features of the new LAC platform. I'm sure that schools who have been using LAC for a while now will be really excited to see that a lot of the feedback that you've been sharing with us has really been taken into account. We've tried to really develop this with schools' needs in mind to make sure that we're making it as easy to use as possible. So I'm excited to show you some of these features. Thanks, Piotr.
Thank you very much, Emma. Um, exactly that, like Emma just described, I'll focus on showing you what's different, what's new, what are the new cool things in LAC 3.0. Just to show you that now you can actually bring analytics to another level altogether, and hopefully it'll be useful to many of you that are already using LAC, but perhaps also to those that are considering to join LAC. You get to see what does it look like in real life. And today's session is called Introducing LAC 3.0 to elevate your analytics experience. That's me. I'm not going to repeat Emma. And going to jump right into talking a bit about LAC and a bit of a context about who we are. Then show you a few slides about what a student data journey may look like through the lens of LAC, and then show you the live platform as well. So LAC is both a platform and a service. So platform is a key component. That's the centerpiece of our conversation today. But it's also a service to schools where we talk to schools on a daily basis, really helping them to harness the power of learning analytics, lifting their ability to interact with data, being able to build the culture of data use throughout the school, both for teachers and school leaders. And we really helping schools with that journey. So going from data, from those raw zeros and ones, through information to insights, then to making those insights actionable and impactful. So we want schools and teachers to use data on a regular basis, really to benefit the students. And right now, there's over 50 schools in LAC. They cover all continents. They stretch from Taiwan through China, Southeast Asia, and down to Middle East, Africa, Europe, Canada, and South America. And it's a great family of schools, different curriculums, different sizes, and that's fantastic because collaborative is that much richer and allows us to bring you now well over 100 different types of visualizations to the pool. So like I mentioned, that's what we're going to focus on today. Bit of introduction, what has changed, and I'm going to show you what those changes look like. I like to start with this when I talk about data because why is it actually that we're doing what we're doing? Why is this important not just to us, but why it could be important to anyone else as well? And I like to see data through this lens, and why is it important to have good quality data? Why is it important to have them visualized in an accessible and very interactive way that helps you to make decisions? I think here the transparency, accountability, the ability to track progress for either individual students or groups of students are paramount. If you're looking to improve anything, change anything, follow any KPIs that you might have set yourself, optimize any resources, allocation of them, whether that's time, money, or people, data is the key to make those decisions so much more relevant and actually give you less room for any potential mistakes. So why schools want to be more data informed, and that's for a variety of reasons. One of them for sure is to personalize that learning for students. Another one could be to track and provide performance feedback for teachers. And finally, to enhance or even create communication channels for parents. And what we're seeing on the ground and what's confirmed by research is that whilst teachers do use data on a regular basis in the collaboration, only about half of them, they actually say they have time to do anything with that, simply due to the nature of how data is presented, how data is being visualized. This simply needs to be accessible and easy to digest. And what comes on top of it, that schools by nature have a lot of data. They collect lots and lots of data on a daily basis, whether that's from students, teachers, parents, community. What they often don't have is the time and skill and the data sophistication to have that one complete solution. That's where LAC comes in. We offer that web-based visual platform that actually been originally designed for teachers, but now has been also adopted by school leaders to a large extent. And the platform itself presents very interactive views for that holistic picture of a student, so both their academic performance and personal development data in one place. So if you want to see the essence of what LAC gives you, is definitely the tools to understand your students better, to see them without judgment or bias through the lens of data, see those different trends for individual students or groups of students, compare data from different sources, so do the data triangulation piece, perhaps also suggest interventions for teachers and helping them to evaluate those as well. So with that little preamble, what's new in LAC 3.0? We done the new version with those three things in mind. One was definitely to introduce more modern, clean design to the users, make sure that it's in line with 2024 standards. Definitely more customization options for everyone to really tailor the view that you want to see, and then to reduce number of clicks. So basically for you to get to the information much quicker than you could have in the past. So before I jump into showing that to you on the live demo site, just a few screenshots here of what the student data journey may look like if you look at an individual student through LAC. So what we have here is the very first view. It's called student data profile. That's where you can see all student information in one place. It will have things like their demographic information right here, and then you can start perhaps diving into their subjects, grades, whether they're traditional report card grades, criteria-based grades, or even ATLs. All of that can be visualized in one place. And then as you go further in the profile, you can also include more information, perhaps on their external assessments or any other areas such as well-being, behavior, attendance. All of that can be part of the student picture. And again, these are just some examples of types of assessments that we visualize for schools, but that all makes a very rich and very holistic environment where teachers can really see the student through the lens of data. And then you can start disaggregating or aggregating information in multiple ways. This is one example, taking map testing as a leading source here. So in here, for example, you can see the whole school performance, all the grade levels, which is that orange line, compared to any international schools. And here you can actually choose your comparative group. So you can compare it to ISA, NISA, CISA, anything at all. But also on top of it, you can show that student and their journey, which is that black line here. You can really see how they performed compared to those two metrics. And what's on the right hand side is often what we do with schools at the beginning. It's a simple protocol just to look at data. That stands for wandering observations, connections, and questions. We simply run through this again to kind of dive into the world of data without biases. Then if you take them up further, one way to visualize it is to look at student profiles based on the results. So you can see the closest neighbors, as it were, in a class or a grade level to any given student. You can see students with very similar profiles, and that really helps teachers to change instruction perhaps in a class, to do differentiation, to ensure they can teach the right things to the right students. Then if you look at the whole grade level or a class, this lets you, and I'm going to show that in a second as well on the live side, you can combine different metrics in one place, and that's a great resource because you can pick and choose what you want. You can make it your own, and really lets you to see not just the most recent results, but it lets you to dive in the history as well, and you can really do a number of correlation points for the students that you teach. There's also views where you can compare student growth and achievement over time. Again, here using MAP as an example, but that applies to many other assessments as well. All fully interactive, clickable things you can't break, and you can play around to really get comfortable with those. Similar with the grades, so your report card grades or your criteria grades. One cool, in my data geek opinion, way to visualize them is to look at them through the lens of time and seeing those changes, track those changes over time. And again, fully clickable. So all those bar charts and horizontal lines are clickable, and you can really see what students have done, where they came from, and track them over time. So I'm gonna pause here with my slides. I'm gonna jump right into the live demo site, and hopefully I can show you all the new features that have happened. So if you're familiar with LAC already, so if you had access to LAC 2.0, that might be a new view that you haven't seen before. If you haven't seen LAC at all, you definitely haven't seen it. And our goal here is to show you data very, very quickly, very intuitively. The main premise here and the main landing page is called the Navigator. That's where you have access to all the visualizations that you might have at your school. These two here, called Student Data Explorer and Student Data Profiles, are the cornerstone of LAC. Those screenshots I showed you at first, that's where they're coming from. And that's where you can see all the student level data in one place. All other tiles here are what we call standalone visualizations. They're are designed for specific assessment or group of assessments, and allow you to drill down, drill up to the number of aggregation points, really tackle those results from different angles. And right here, already users have number of ways to interact with that. So first of all, you can customize your view quite a bit. So as a user, I can pick and choose what's actually appearing on my page. So I can untick any of those. If I don't want to see, let's say, an MYP certificate, I can just simply unclick it and it will disappear from the view. Then in order to get to any information, all you have to do is simply go into the visualization. So as you hover above any of the map visualizations, you can just click on any of those, and that will open up a brand new page. And actually, that's the default behavior across the whole site. It opens a new tab, so you don't lose the track of where you've been. And again, you can start right away interact with any of those. So going back to the main site here. I'm going to dive into those Student Data Explorer and Student Data Profiles. That's where the most changes have happened in LAC 3.0. Prior to that, one more option on the top. As before, you can look for a specific student and go to that student data profile just by typing their name, or you can look for a specific visualization. So if I want to find something to do with map, for example, all I have to do is start typing map, and everything here will come up. Now, diving into the Student Data Explorer, that's where you can create those interactive screeners. Lets you to pick and choose from all those metrics that you as a school have access to and you share with LAC. The premise here is that you choose the grade level you want to look at. So perhaps we can go to high school here and then choose maybe grade 10s. Once you make that selection, all the available fields, all the available measures will be for you right here to choose from. So right here we have 226 different measures you can choose to put into your screener, which is obviously quite a bit. There are ways to reduce that number. So one way is to choose a category from which you want to have the data pulled. So for example, if I decide to only have academic grades here, maybe I'll choose some ATLs for English, perhaps some map results for reading, maybe Cat 4, and I'll also grab criteria-based grades for English. So I've made my selection in terms of categories. And now we see that number has come down to 52. And you can simply go through the list and click in any of those, or you can even further search. So if I want to see, let's say, a test percentile from map, all I have to do is type it here, click on that little button, and that will add that to the view. So let's go ahead and add a few more columns here. Let's make it a bit richer environment. So I'm going to go ahead and add the academic grades for say for mathematics. I'm going to add some academic grades for English. I'm going to go ahead and also add perhaps some CAT 4 results. Maybe I'll grab the mean SAS score from CAT, and then perhaps 1 or 2 criterias from English. So this is now ready to use. I can simply close this panel and start interacting with it. It's the same type of view as we had in a current/old LAC 2.0, which is a 1 row per student. You're seeing the most recent results in the view here. So you'd see that student would have got a 6 in their most recent mathematics. And then if you hover above this bar graph, you get those historicals as well. So you can really track, even visually, you can see what the student progress may look like. But if you hover, you get the details. As before, all of this is interactive. So I can sort this by, let's say, those grades either in ascending or descending order. So again, lets you to really drive those analytics. I can start comparing results from either map, CAT 4 grades across the whole piece here. What's new is as follows. So when I click those through, they came in alphabetical order, but I may not want to have them in that order. So all you have to do now is to move them around. So let's say if I want my map reading percentile to be closer to my academic grades for English, I just have to drag and drop it. And that will help me to, even visually very closely, to draw a simple correlation from that. Another option that you have here is to select certain students. So if I want to focus on 1 or 2 students here and just see those, then you'll be able to simply leave those 2 students in your view. Following from that, you have a number of filters on the right-hand side. One allows you to really narrow down the selection. So if I don't want to see very historical data, I can simply untick them from here, and I will just leave the most recent data. Another one here lets you to look at different programs that you might have in a school. So whether that's your learning support, language support, and if I want to see a specific caseload, all I have to do is pick that program, and only students from within that caseload will remain on the screen. And then so let me bring this back up. And then finally here you have something called more filters. And this is a great feature where you can really tailor the view that you have, make the selection using those sliders, those ranges, to narrow down selection of students. So for example, if I want to see students who are perhaps doing fairly well internally in terms of their academic grades, but maybe their map results are perhaps a little bit lower, all I have to do is change those sliders, press apply filters, and only those students will remain in my view. So as a teacher, as a school leader, great tool. I know you can look at your high achievers, you can look at students on the other side of the scale, and really again to look at perhaps a whole selection of grade levels and even see who might be the students who are in the risk of getting a 2 or 3 at the end of the semester. So super easy and again intuitive to use. So let me just reset those back to where they were, and then if this is a view I want to keep, this is something I want to come back to, I don't have to recreate that every time. All I have to do is go down here, press Save Screener, and then give it a name. Further on, I can choose what grade levels I want this to be replicated across. So we're in grade 10, but maybe that selection of metrics will be great for grade 8 or 9 as well. And if those metrics are available in those grade levels, this view will be exactly what we see here. And then finally, you have a choice of making this private, so something that only I would see, or I can share it. If I decide to share it, I can simply send that in a sense to anyone in my team, in my school, who are currently users registered on Attack. So if I want to send them out to Emma, I'll just pick Emma from the list, press save, and when she logs in to LAC site, she'll have access to the same view. To show you how they look like, I'm just going to reload the whole page. So as if I was logging in back here. So I'm going to go through the same steps. We're going to go to high school, choose the grade 10, and then you'll see that on the top right here, you'll start seeing the screeners that you have access to as a user. So right here, there'll be one dropdown for your private screeners. There'll be one dropdown here for the shared screeners. And the one we just created is right here. So you just pick it from the list. And there we go. And it's all here. What's great about this as well is that me, as someone who created that, I can delete it, so I can remove it completely. I can also make changes to it and resave it under the same name. If that's something that's been shared with me, I cannot delete it, and I can still interact with it in the same way as normally. But then if I want to save it, I have to save it under a new name, so I can't always save someone else's work. While we're here as well, it's worth noting that we've really tailored the access across the school. So this section here, that selection that we've been operating here, is very much admin level view. So I can see the divisions, grade levels, and teachers. When the teacher logs in here, they would see the courses they teach. So they wouldn't see all those three options here. They only see the course they teach and perhaps the sections they teach as well. So that's what they would have access to, and you can see the number of students is changing because that's only the students who the teacher is currently teaching. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my entirety of grade 10, and I'm going to bring back the screener as well. And I'll use this opportunity to jump into a profile of a student to show you what changes have happened over there. So as before, you can click on any student here, just click on their name, and that profile will come up, or you can type in here. So if I type a student name, I can just pick them from the list, and that opens that new tab and the profile for that student. So for those that are familiar with LAC 2.0, you'll see a massive change. This here now has all the demographics. It's right on the top. So that panel gives you, the nationality, the languages, the time at school for a student, and much more. So things to like external links to any portfolios or student work that you have. Can have things like academic credit score, and much more. All depends on the school, and it's all customizable to any given school. Also confirmation if the student happens to be any of those special programs. Then right underneath, I have a section for my external assessments. So this will be my maps, Cat4s, WIDAs, anything at all. And there'll be a section here for your internal assessments, which will be your criteria grades and also your report card grades. And the last section here is other reports. So if a student has those attendance data, behavioral data, wellness data, all of that can be put in that space. Here as a user now, I have lots of room to customize my experience. Number one is that I can drag and drop these as I like. So if I don't want this map language is here, but here, I can just simply drag and replace any of the tiles. Another way is I can actually move the whole sections up and down. So if I want to see my internal assessments first, I can just move them around and shift the view. Also, I can hide the whole section if I choose to. So if I press on this little eye here, I can simply hide the whole section. And finally, if I want to be very specific as to what shows on my view, I can click this filter option and say, you know what, I really don't want to see anything to do with anything to do with WIDA. So I'll go down here, just scroll too fast, go to WIDA, untick that, and that WIDA will simply disappear from my view. And if that's the view I want to apply across all the students I can see I have access to, I simply press save the profile view, and this will apply to all the students that I see. Of course, at any point I can bring it back if I choose to. And finally, on the last one change that we have here really helps with navigation is that apart from seeing on some of the tiles an option to view complete details, and basically once you click on that, it will pop out the screen and you can see this much closer, and you can really track all the results. For all the in this case map tests. All tiles have this go to standalone engine feature. So previously you had to kind of come out of this, go back to your main navigator page, pick the visualization and kind of dive into that. But right now, if I'm looking at this student's map results, and I want to see more, I want to see context of the class or a cohort, I just go here, choose my visualization, press proceed, and that opens. And that opens again a new tab. I can go straight from here, and I don't lose the track of where I've been before. So I'll navigate my way back to the navigator, as it were, and I'll pause here. These are the main changes, the key changes that we put in place. All other visualizations, the 100+ visualizations that we have at LNC, have been moved to this new LAC 3.0 site. So you have that access is not changing. It's just hopefully giving you a chance to access that information quicker, more visually pleasing, and lets you to customize your experience. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions for those that are here.
Thank you, Piotr. It's so cool. I love how nice it looks, the new one. But also I think there's so much thought gone into we want to make teachers' lives easier, and what's the best way to do that? Turn off all the engines that don't apply to you. Have your administrator save the screener, so you just go in and click one button and you can automatically see like your class's reading scores. You don't need to go through and do all the clicking. And I really think it's going to be a game changer for schools in terms of just making it so it's going to be easier to just get in and do it than it is going to be to say, oh, we don't have the data, we don't have the time. It's
Right.
It's right there for you now.
Right. I completely agree. There's so many applications of it, and this also a springboard for us because for us to do further changes in the future, it will be also much easier. But it's a statement to us, really thriving on feedback from schools. All we have in terms of our visualizations, what you have in front of you, is been years in development and years of listening to the schools. We never sit around the table and thinking, that would be great for IBDP. All we have came out of the questions that schools have posed, and we gave them the answers.
Absolutely. I wonder if anyone else that's here has a question or wants to see any of the other visualizations. I say that after you close the window.
No, I can always go back to it. I just want to also make sure that if someone wants to contact me, this is my email. Please do feel free to send me an email, ask any questions.
Great. It looks like nobody's got any more questions. You must have shown everything in great detail. So I'm going to stop the recording.